All right, guys, welcome to another exciting episode of the Left Side View with Rahul and Amitabh. So this is our weekly roundup of professional wrestling episode. So Amitabh,
Hi Rahul, hi guys, and welcome to our brand new episode where we'll cover the all the latest updates from the world of professional wrestling. So let's start with WWE again. As we discussed in the last podcast, the only storyline worth following right now is Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, and on their part, WWE has done well to keep them apart at least till Royal Rumble. Maybe they'll build ahead of steam after that. So right now, Brock Lesnar is going to face Bobby Lashley for the Raw Championship belt, and Roman Reigns will face his ex-Shield brethren, Seth Rollins. So in Raw, again, the face-off between Lashley and Lesnar was pretty much along expected lines, where Brock told Lashley, "Wanna be Lesnar," basically,
uh,
and the Hurt Locker, the other team members came back trying to support Lashley, but then Lashley basically shoot them away, and then they tried to attack him. Over in SmackDown, again, Roman and Rollins came face to face with Rollins saying that I created you, I can destroy you, stuff like that. But everybody knows that this is something that they'll carry on till Royal Rumble, and both Brock and Roman are going to most likely 99.99% chances that they'll win the match, and then they'll head off to WrestleMania trying to beat each other. Around your views?
I think yeah, like with Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley, I can still understand, because a lot of the points that Brock Lesnar made were in a way true, and I'm really liking this new Brock Lesnar. Like till last year, I think, or maybe a couple of years ago, whenever we used to have Brock Lesnar on screen, it was just Paul Heyman, cutting his promos for him. But with this, ever since Brock Lesnar has returned, he's actually cutting a lot of his promos himself. That's something that we've never seen from him before. So I really like
Yeah,
this
so
new.
this is something that even I actually wanted to mention. This
Yeah.
whole persona around Lesnar that they have tried to create, with a funky hairstyle and colorful clothing. And so now, I mean, after listening to Mick Foley and Jericho, especially these two guys, now I understand how they build character and stuff like that. So they have this colorful edge to Brock Lesnar, trying to, crack jokes, be happy all the time. It's not about, the beast incarnate mode. Now he's happy, he's chill, and definitely this is a breath of fresh air in terms of developing the character to the next level. At the end of the day, all of us know that Lesnar's matches will contain a lot of suplexes, that suplexity, right? So that is how they'll take it forward. But at least in terms of the build-up, this is something new and this is something fresh.
Yeah,
Yeah, Rahul.
exactly. Yeah. And again, it's like they can try to ask him to do something, but then it is something that needs to work as well. My point is that it is something that is working as well. Like it seems like Brock Lesnar is also enjoying himself. So that's really nice, a fresh change. Uh, Other than that, yes, I think my issue is probably with the Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns match. I'm not sure what to say of this match. Like, uh, is it actually like can we actually take Seth Rollins as a credible threat to Roman Reigns' championship? Like some people who are actually Roman Reigns' fans, they probably don't want. They are like okay with this that yeah, Roman Reigns is going to win most likely. But then people who are not, maybe they'll be like, he has been made to look so strong that now no matter who he has to wrestle, the chances are that he's going to win. I mean, if someone like Kevin Owens couldn't beat him, someone like Edge could not beat him, someone like Daniel Bryan couldn't beat him. So what are the chances now that someone like uh, Seth Rollins is going to beat him? Uh, I mean, it's like there's nobody on SmackDown that they actually had to call someone from Raw to to have to have Reigns face that person at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. But yeah, like you said, that it's most likely going to be just so that Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns can be kept apart till WrestleMania. So they both have two different opponents for Royal Rumble. But yes, other than that, maybe we could probably talk about a couple more interesting storylines from Raw and SmackDown. Uh, Lita
Yes,
returned.
Rahul.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So
Lita
obviously she's
returned.
going to be in this year's Women's Royal Rumble match. So she returned and was interrupted by none other than Charlotte. So yeah, she made fun of Trish Stratus as well, and that again led to Lita giving her a twist of fate. Yeah. So even I still remember when she came out. The best part about SmackDown is not only what they do, but also their commentator Pat McAfee. I think he doesn't look like he's someone who's a commentator. He is someone he's like a fanboy. So even he was so excited to see Lita. Yeah, so really nice to see Lita. Um, Anything else that you want to talk about with WWE?
Yes. Again, shout out to Lita. Again, one of the many wrestlers who will return to Royal Rumble. I don't think for the storyline, but just for the pop-up. We can talk about the tag team division. Viking Raiders became the number one contender for the Usos tag team titles in SmackDown, and over in Raw. Team Alpha, American Alpha rather, a team consisting of Chad Gable and Otis. They
Alpha
actually won
Academy,
the
yeah.
title. Yeah, they actually won the title from RK Bro. And personally, I think that there is a Randy Orton versus this guy,
Riddle.
Riddle. Yeah, Riddle. I think there's a match in the offing at WrestleMania. Maybe after the friendship and the cohesiveness between the two, the um, humor and stuff like that, everything that has been played out, maybe there'll be an aggressive, an angle of aggression that they would like to explore. I think that there's a match there.
Yeah.
Let's see how WWE takes it forward.
Yeah.
Your views on the tag team titles? Yeah.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, Usos needed someone new, right? Like, so I'm not really sure if there are any uh, enough tag teams, to challenge. But yes, they had a fatal four-way, I guess, and out of those teams, it's Viking Raiders who came out on top. But again, I mean, do I see the Usos lose their title? I'm not sure. But so that's again a problem with the booking. But yeah, let's talk about the Raw tag team titles. Yes, so uh, it was they had been the champions for a long time. So at least, unlike what they're doing with the Usos, they at least made a title change uh, on Raw. And like you said, that yes, it's a money match if we see a Randy Orton versus Riddle. But then again, maybe this is now actually reminding me a little bit of the Kevin Owens and the Chris Jericho angle from 2016, where we had the festive friendship and all of that. But again, the question is, one of these two, one of the two needs to turn heel, and I think it's probably going to be Randy Orton. I mean, if one of these has to turn heel, it has to be Orton because Riddle has like this. Riddle is so over right now with his goofy persona, so it has to be Riddle, and that's the only one that makes sense. Like that makes more sense. So yeah, I think you're right. Even I have a feeling that it could happen at this year's WrestleMania. Um, but I think we can talk one more thing about WWE on the whole. So we can talk about NXT and we can talk about NXT's main event. The phenomenal AJ Styles came to NXT to take on the Australian Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller actually distracted AJ Styles when he was having a match against Austin Theory on Raw, which led to Austin Theory picking up the victory. So yeah, this match was originally supposed to take place last week at New Year's Evil, but Grayson Waller, being the new cocky heel that he is, he wanted his match to take place in the main event, because of which this match did not take place last week, but actually in the main event of this week's NXT. But it was a great match. I think both these guys tore the house down. But yes, in the end, obviously, it's more about giving someone like Grayson Waller the rub. It's not like he needs the victory. It's like just by association, he elevates himself. So yes, AJ Styles had a great match, but in the end, the right person won, which is AJ Styles. And just when we thought that this was going to be over, AJ Styles got another promo that this is not over. He actually has another friend who's going to return and beat the shit out of him in a way. So that returning friend was LA Knight. And yes, so I think now that AJ Styles is done with NXT, we're still going to have another opponent for uh, Joyce and Water. So yes, anything else that you want to mention, Amitabh here?
No, I think we've covered WWE in detail today. So we can move to AEW.
Okay.
Again, Brody King uh, came and yeah, wowed everyone instantaneously. Your views on that, Ram?
Well, yes, there were rumors, ever since Ring of Honor went on a hiatus, that Brody King had already signed with AEW. It was only a matter of when he was going to make his debut. Um, and from what I read, uh, that he was actually supposed to debut last week, I think. Maybe, I mean, him and Malachi Black, uh, they were actually supposed to take on Lucha Brothers, but I'm pretty sure the plans have changed now because Ray Phoenix got injured in his match in their tag team title defense against Jurassic Express. Um, in fact, from what I've heard, I think next week it's going to be Malachi Black and Brody King versus Varsity Blondes, um, Griff Garrison, and I'm not sure of the other guy's name. Um, but yeah, so Brody King and Malachi Black already are tag team champions on the independent scene for PWG, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. So yes, it's no nonsense, no brainer of a deal for AEW. Even CM Punk once, when he was asked who he wants to see from Ring of Honor in AEW, he took Brody King's name. So yeah, makes a lot of sense. Other than that, we can talk about
Yeah,
Hangman
so
Page's.
yes, Ram, please go ahead.
So yeah, it does look like Hangman Page's next opponent after he was successful in his defense of the title against Brian Danielson. It's going to be Lance Archer. So Lance Archer returned and he turned heel. So yes, it does look like he's going to be the one to take on Hangman Page. I mean, uh, Hangman Page was interrupted by Dan Lambert along with Men of the Year. He came to the ring and it looked like Lance Archer his music hit, and we thought that maybe he was going to beat Dan Lambert, but instead of beating Dan Lambert, he actually hit Hangman Page and put his finishing move on him on a chair. So yes, it does look like that's where uh, the world title scene is heading towards. Yes, Amitabh.
Yes, another storyline that we'd like to cover is the MGF CM Punk thing that is going on. And actually, after not letting MGF, stand true to his vow that he would have an undefeated 2022, CM Punk faced off Warlow in AEW this week. And I mean, much to my amazement, it was actually a squash match. And there was some sort of a conflict in Warlow when MGF was shouting all those instructions and asking him not to complete the match, win the match, but actually keep on power bombing CM Punk.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's an angle there or it was just one of those things. But yeah, sorry. And after 7 power bombs in a row and then a power bomb at the announcer's table, again, MGF did not want Warlow to finish the match, and he wanted to, hurt Punk more. And again, I know that all this is as per the storyline. Punk just covered Warlow for a quick 1, 2, 3, and he was able to win the match. There was some sort of an argument between Warlow and MGF at the end of it all. So basically, MGF's vow to be undefeated in 22, that has already gone. That ship has sailed. But Punk, for all intents and purposes, he is undefeated in 2022. Um, let's see how they write the next chapter of this feud. Your views, Rahul, on how they build the storyline this week?
I think yeah, they're doing the right thing. So obviously they've already sown seeds of dissension between MJF and Wardlow, because this was in a way MJF, even MJF actually was on a undefeated streak. So he has also lost a big match. In fact, the biggest match of his career, something that he actually would have won or could have won. Had things gone his way, he didn't really have MJF uh, constantly interrupting him, bothering him. But then, even once this got over, MJF again came out, and we thought that finally he will give us the match that we all want to see. But even then, he didn't do that. He said that CM Punk's next opponent will be Sean Spears, the chairman, Sean Spears. Um, so yes, in next week's Dynamite, we're gonna see this match, CM Punk versus Sean Spears. I think it makes sense because once, let's say, CM Punk also manages to beat all of his Pinnacle brethren, maybe then finally we will see CM Punk versus MJF. Um, but then again, like, what's going to be the status of Wardlow? Like, is he going to stay aligned with MJF? That's another interesting question.
Yeah, I mean, the characters like Warlow, they are basically the muscle of any group, and particularly this gentleman, I don't think he has a lot of flair or that he can pull off a character on his own. Very few from such departments can,
Dave
muscles of any
Batista.
group. Yeah, I mean, Batista comes to mind instantaneously, but then after that, it is difficult to. And on top of it, MGF already has a storyline that is running. So why would they create another hindrance in his path right now if they can't actually take the feud to the next level? I see at the end of the day, all the groups will be disformed, and there will be some sort of animosity feud that they'll take from there. But maybe what they'll do is one by one, everybody becomes discontented with MGF, and that is when he faces CM Punk, when none of his group members are willing to support him. Again, all that is at least in my head. Let's see how they take it forward.
But then, interestingly enough, I just read like last week that WWE are actually really interested in Wardlow, because obviously we can probably say that he's not someone who's got the flair. But then, for Vince McMahon, he just loves big sweaty men. So Wardlow fits that category.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know how they can utilize him. Maybe they see him as a substitute to even Brock Lesnar is in his last leg of whatever he can do. So maybe that can happen. There's also another storyline that we'd like to discuss. That is Britt Baker and Adam Cole. Rahul, your views there?
Well, yeah. So obviously, for people who don't know, Adam Cole and Britt Baker are actually a couple in real life. Um, so yes, I'm pretty sure that when Adam Cole's contract was up with NXT, that was another very important reason as to why he went to AEW. I mean, it was not just because Young Bucks are there uh, and Kenny Omega was there. I mean, his former Bullet Club members were there, but also because his real life partner, Britt Baker, is there, the AEW Women's Champion. So it initially started as Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish coming out, and Adam Cole and sorry, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, they expressed their desire to go after the AEW Tag Team Championship. But that's when Young Bucks interrupted, and they also stated their desire to go after the AEW Tag Team Championship. So uh, obviously, we could see, a Red Dragon, that is Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, take on uh, the Young Bucks, or maybe we could also see a 3-on-3 match. Maybe once Kenny Omega returns, so it's Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks versus Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. So obviously, there are so many possibilities uh, with those 5 or 6 group of men. But then when these guys were in the ring, just then super friends or best friends interrupted. I think Wheeler Yuta, Orange Cassidy, Trent Beretta, Chuck Taylor, Chris Statlander, and a brawl erupted. So just when these five, Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Young Bucks, were able to take care of all the guys. It was only Chris Statlander who was standing, and she stood in front of Adam Cole. So that's when Britt Baker came out to hit her, and these two actually aligned themselves on screen as well, Adam Cole and Britt Baker. So they also challenged Adam Cole and Britt Baker also challenged Orange Cassidy and Chris Statlander for a mixed tag team match next week. So yeah, uh, that looks really interesting. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're both excited to work with each other uh, on screen as well.
Yeah, so I think we've covered AEW, all the major storylines here as well. Anything that you'd like to discuss about, say, Impact or New Japan, Rahul?
Yeah, so not much on New Japan front or Ring of Honor front, but yes, there's one thing that I can talk about when it comes to Impact Wrestling is like we talked about earlier that we're probably hoping to see Josh Alexander go after Moose now for the Impact World Title, but again, and he had another obstacle uh, in front of him, and it was none other than the returning Charlie Haas. Like Charlie Haas, out of the blue, came out and challenged Josh Alexander. And again, like we have to understand that both these guys have actually been part of very successful tag team. Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin, the world's greatest tag team, which is what the name was. Uh, and Josh Alexander with Ethan Page. So, but obviously now Ethan Page is in AEW, Shelton Benjamin is WWE. So Josh Alexander working as a solo single star, and Charlie Haas came out, but then Josh Alexander told him that he can have his match with Josh Alexander once he is done with Moose. Uh, but then Charlie Haas was in no wait, wasn't no rush. Like Charlie Haas was in no mood to wait. So again, a brawl erupted between the two. So it does look like we're still going to wait a little while before we see Josh Alexander versus Moose, because I think it's going to be Josh Alexander versus Charlie Haas first. But yeah, I think that's enough for a week, I think.
Yeah, Charlie Haas, Shelton Benjamin, and Kurt Angle, the good
Yeah,
old days.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we've covered every major aspect of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think with that we can come to the end of this podcast, guys. Thank you so much for your time. We'll be back next Sunday with whatever the update is in the world of professional wrestling. Thank you so much.